It's a vast overreach. What does that tell you about the Republican Party?
It tells me they're in a twist and they don't know what the hell they're doing at this point. The dog caught the car once again. They never dreamed. You know, Stephanie, this issue and the whole pro-life, pro-choice issue and abortion after the Dobbs decision has been demagogued for so many years, over and over, and they use the catchphrases, and it was really easy when you had Roe as a backstop to say, I am pro-life and life begins at conception, and don't think past that. And they didn't. And that's why you had all of these Republicans on all these bills throughout in the Congress and in the various states, and they didn't think it through. And all of a sudden now, a Supreme Court has taken the next logical legal step given what they had in front of them.
That's my question. How did the Alabama Supreme Court get here?
They got there because the state of Alabama in 2018 enacted a constitutional amendment protecting the rights of unborn children. That's the definition. Unborn children, giving them all the rights and privileges of anyone. Then the state Alabama's legislature had a very restrictive abortion law.
And is that what the people of Alabama want? You know those voters.
You know, I don't think the people of Alabama really want those kind of restrictions. I've never believed that. But we're in a very gerrymandered legislative state. And so there is a small minority of folks in those gerrymandered districts who do want that kind of very far-reaching restrictive laws regarding abortion. And so that's what carried the day and what the Supreme Court did, except for Justice Parker, which really based his decision on the Bible instead of on the law. It was a logical step. And that's the point that people need to think about around the country. You know, you can
elaborate, because people around the country don't think about that.
No, they don't think, and they think, oh, that's just Alabama. Well, let me tell you something. The United States could be Alabamified if they're not careful, because this is being applauded. That decision is being applauded by these far-right groups across the country. And you see them, and they're going to start taking the Alabama law, even though that law just right now applies only to Alabama. It is that roadmap. They already have that roadmap now to do exactly what they want to.
Is that what you meant? You just last week you said Donald Trump paved the way for this.
Yeah, there's no question about it. He made sure that he put 3 people on the Supreme Court of the United States that would overturn Roe versus Wade, to give the states like Alabama and the others the authority to do what they did without thinking it through, without understanding the full consequences for women, for families. They don't think that way. They pander and they talk in terms of political catchphrases.
Okay, but then let's talk politics, because most Americans do not believe that frozen embryos are children. Is this wise to do this heading into a presidential election? Right, I think back to when Roe versus Wade was overturned. Remember how people were so worried for Democrats about the midterms, and what fired up people to vote? This.
Well, look, the Alabama judicial system is not operating on that 24 election cycle, okay? Although you've got one of the members that is running for Chief Justice, because our Bible-thumping Chief Justice is retiring. He can't run again. So he's not going to be on there. So you do have an election year politics coming into play. But this took its normal course. There was a wrongful death suit filed, appeals taken, and this was a normal course. And it happened to come out right here at election time, which I think is a wake-up call and a signal for the rest of the country. This is still a significant issue going into 2024.
Do you think this could fire up voters, right? I think about young voters who in recent polls have been kind of sluggish about this upcoming election. Democrats are worried about it. Could this be a motivator?
Oh, if it's not, I don't know how you get so many families. How many people across this country? You know someone, there's someone in your family, there's a neighbor, there's someone you know. There are so many people that are touched by IVF. It's the only way they can have families. And yes, you've got, and what's really interesting about this is that if you look and see who, you know, most of the people that are being affected, there's a lot of people in Alabama that are sacrificing so much because this is an expensive procedure. It is not covered by insurance. Mm-hmm. They are living in mobile homes as opposed after they've sold their house to try to have a family. But Stephanie, most of the people that are involved, that are affected by this, are people that do have some means. They do have money. And that's another reason why Republicans are in a twist, because it's affecting people that they think vote for them. and it's not affecting, they believe, the minority communities the way the Dobbs decision has affected so many. There is an element to this of they are going to fight for those suburban white folks that you see that are really affected by this. And again, I'm not saying that it doesn't affect everybody, because it does, but there's a reason why the Republicans in Alabama are in such a twist right now about this, when they did not think that through, and they did not fight for Medicaid expansion, and they did not fight to make choices for women in their reproductive health.
But
there
of course,
is a political reason.
This twist that they're in is a self-inflicted twist. They put themselves in it. Before I let you go, I have to ask you about Mitch McConnell's announcement today, stepping down from his role as the top Senate Republican. I mean, whether you love or hate Mitch McConnell, he is a political beast. He has been in an extraordinarily powerful position and very effective at it, the way he wants to be effective, for years.
Yeah, look, and what I fear